afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. It's always wonderful to have you in the house. You're our team and you're our friends, and we're delighted to have you here. You know, Boeing Company had a poster a few years back, and it was a picture of someone on the moon in a suit, and it said, "It's time to go for another walk." So I'm kind of thinking it's kind of time to go back to the moon. What do you all think? So here today we're going to talk about it and feature the next folks that are going to be going back to the moon with their hardware. And I'd like to introduce today one of our dear friends, part of our tribe and part of our family here, author, engineer, and rocketeer, Homer Hickam.
Thank you, Deborah. You know, when my good friend Tim Pickens asked me to come out today and MC this event, he had me at moon. I've been a long time admirer and lover of the idea of going to the moon. As a matter of fact, I famously suggested to Senator John F. Kennedy when I was in high school that maybe we should go to the moon. I take credit for the Apollo program. But I also suggested that he asked me, why do you think we ought to go to the moon? And I said, well, we ought to go up there and mine the blame thing. Because I had a lot of coal miners standing around us, and they all said, heck yeah, we could send us, we could mine anything. And that's the part that we're still missing, is going up and making use of the moon. The Apollo program was wonderful. It was magnificent. But these days, we are going back in a robotic way. And that's very, very important. We are setting the groundwork for the return of humankind to the moon. And that's one of the reasons that we're here today. The moon is the Earth's 8th continent. It's loaded with resources, and including a very precious element called helium-3, which I've been writing about a little bit in the novel Back to the Moon and my latest novel, which is called Crater. So one of the things that we're going to do as we go back to the moon is to learn more about those resources and how we might use them. The focus of this event, though, today is another step along the path for the Rocket City Space Pioneers Google X Prize team to win that prize by being the first team to launch a lander to the lunar surface, go out 500 meters, and then send data back to Earth. The Pioneers, however, want to engage and excite grade school students, and all students, about space exploration, which we hope will also make science and math more interesting to them. And that's going to be part of the contest that Tim is going to get up and talk about soon. But just to remind everyone of the lander and its aspects, we've got a short video that we'd like to show now. So if we could dim the lights, we'll take a look.
I'm Tim Pickens. I'm team leader of the Rocket City Space Pioneers, and we are going after the Google Lunar X Prize. The Google Lunar X Prize is igniting a new era of lunar exploration by offering the largest international incentive prize of all time. A total of $30 million is available to the first privately funded teams to safely land a robot on the moon, travel 500 meters, and send high-definition video back to Earth. We are competing with teams from all over the world. We plan to leave Earth on a commercial rocket, Falcon 9, carrying up to 8 additional payloads. Once we are in geosynchronous transfer orbit, we will release 6 of those payloads and then head to the moon. Once we are in low lunar orbit, we will release the remaining payloads, and the robotic landing will begin braking maneuvers to make a soft landing. Our rover will then travel across the lunar surface while sending high-definition video back home. We see long-term commercial opportunities on the moon. From taking science payloads affordably to and from the moon, to mining the rich resources of the lunar surface for uses back here on Earth. Lunar exploration holds great promise for the medical, homeland security, and energy fields. Our team has what it takes to get this job done. We have proven experience supporting NASA and commercial customers. We are honored to be one of only 6 teams asked by NASA to supply data and one of only 3 who will supply early flight component results. We have a team of people designing, building, and testing cool hardware. We are the Rocket City Space Pioneers, and we are going back to the moon.
I'll tell you what, if anybody can do it, it's Tim Pickens and his wonderful team. Now, I'd like to introduce my very good friend, Rocket City Space Pioneers team leader and commercial space advisor at Dynetics. Tim Pickens has done a lot of things in his life, but he's probably best known for building Orion, a successful startup rocket company that's now a part of Dynetics. The Google X Prize isn't Tim's first work on an X Prize. He was the lead propulsion engineer for Spaceship One, which won the $10 million Ansari X Prize for the first privately built ship into space. Tim has got some really exciting news to impart to you today. I'm excited about it. I hope you are too. Ladies and gentlemen, a true rocket boy, Tim Pickens.
It sure feels good to be here today. I appreciate everyone for coming out. Every spacecraft needs a name. And today we're here to announce a contest that will give us a name for our lander. The Rocket City Space Pioneers have partnered with the Alabama Department of Education, the Alabama Tourism Department, the Space Camp to hold a contest for Alabama public 4th grade school students to name our lander. We want a name that speaks to the spirit of technology, innovation, and enthusiasm of Alabama. The class with the winning name will get a free trip to Space Camp. And the teacher with the winning class will receive a $500 gift card for classroom supplies. I want to invite some students down to help me unveil this lander. In fact, we have the team leader here today from the Huntsville Center for Technology. His name is Caleb Stott. And we also have a 3rd grader here today, or 4th grader, we'd like to invite down to also help with the unveiling. All right. These guys here on the outer side, these guys have worked on this lander for over a year, by the way. Excuse me. It is appropriate that we show you what our lander will look like. So, all right, students, go ahead and uncover the lander. And there it is. Is that not a beautiful lander these guys have built? These guys built this over at the Huntsville Center for Technology, and I'm real impressed. You know, the amazing hardware you see in front of you was built by high school students. And I'm saying, only in Huntsville can you have engineers, instructors, and high school students doing complex projects such as these. These young people have learned so much on this project, and they have taught me so much as well. The testimonies and excitement that I witnessed from students as they designed, built, and assembled the elements you see have been so rewarding to watch. The Huntsville Center for Technology encompasses many disciplines of learning, but the project allowed those disciplines to be focused, applied, and ultimately to come together to create systems. The students now understand the true value of applying their learning to an end goal. You students have demonstrated product integration teamwork at its best. Thank you, Huntsville Center for Technology. You are a great team member, and you guys deserve a huge round of applause. You know, sponsors and partners are also critical to the success of an endeavor such as this. You know, many companies and sponsors have stepped forward to support the STEM as well as the hardware. We have been fortunate to have companies like Siemens who have donated almost $2 million in solid edge and FEMAT packages. These have been free to any volunteer who will give their time to STEM relating to educational outreach. UAH Huntsville has done some great design work as well in areas of mechanical design and software on our rovers and landers. We have been fortunate to have worked with NASA summer intern students from the NASA Propulsion Academy with Frank Six. We even hired some of these students once they graduated. Alabama does have the right stuff. One of our teammates, Analytical Mechanics Associates, AMA, they know how to engage people at all ages. They designed an iPad app for RCSP that takes the player through all phases of a fun mission to the moon. It leaves Huntsville from a futuristic Huntsville, and it takes you to the moon, allows you to rove around on the moon, and it's a lot of fun. You can play it out here on our table after this event, and it's free at the Apple App Store. And I say, how cool is that? Well, that's about it for me. Next, I'd like to have Homer come back and tell you about some of our speakers.
Wow. Now that is a beautiful spacecraft right there. That is absolutely incredible. Tom told me that the students that built it actually came in under budget. My response to that was, well, next year they'll find their budget's going to be cut. That's what we learned at NASA. But that's absolutely glorious. I would like to introduce some of our special guests today who are going to get up and talk to us a little bit about the very important, they can talk about anything they want to, of course, but I think what we're going to hear is some talk about the importance of another acronym, STEM. I fought against acronyms the whole time I was at NASA, and NASA reminded me that it was an acronym, so I gave up on it. STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, the importance of that to our students. And appropriately, first up today we have Dr. Tommy Bice. Now, Dr. Bice is Alabama State Superintendent of Education. He's also been the superintendent of the Alexander City School System, a high school principal, a career tech director, a school teacher, and he began his career as a teacher at the Alabama Institute for the Deaf and Blind. That, if for no other reason, makes him a very special person. Dr. Bice.